The coronavirus taking a greater toll on the U.S. by the hour, with the number of deaths now up to 48, more than 2,100 confirmed cases here in the United States. Millions of Americans now cut off from life as they've known it, fearing they will get sick and wondering when this nightmare will end.
Calm and a voice of facts in the midst of all this. What should Americans prepare themselves for in these coming couple of weeks?
Well, it's a critical time, Jim, in the next couple of weeks, because as you know, we have very intensive mitigation, the kinds of things that you've described on the show with the physical separation. If you look now, we're starting to see glimmers that is actually having some dampening effect, but that does not take away from the seriousness of what you just described on the show. We clearly are seeing cases going up.
Time ago, as the toll of the coronavirus widens here in the U.S.
Obviously brutal. I mean, the markets rushed toward a place to say we have to start handicapping the probabilities of a recession in this country.
The COVID-19 pandemic has changed our lives in many ways. No one expected that when the world shut down mid-March of 2020, that we would still be in a state of partial shutdown a year later. If anything, a majority of people thought that this would only last 2 weeks at most. However, when campus remained closed weeks after students were expected to return following spring break, it became clear that we were only entering the early days of what would prove to be a very stressful year for college students. With the rapid transition from in-person classes to being completely virtual and being suddenly cut off from campus communities and support systems, the mental stress already felt by students got worse and would only worsen as time went on. Colleges and universities around the world had to figure out how to continue providing a valuable education while still keeping its students and staff members safe from the deadly virus.
Nearly 400,000 people at American colleges and universities have contracted the coronavirus since March. That's enough to fill 4 Rose Bowls.
Almost kind of like freaked out by was like how I know that like it was mainly going to be online and stuff, but I still felt like literally everything was a ghost town like for the first few days. Because like there was literally no one walking around. There was no one like it was, if there was somebody, it would be like just one person walking by themselves or like something on the sidewalk, but like it was just barren most of the time.
With a rough end to the spring 2020 semester, NIU worked to ensure a partial return to campus with the rapidly approaching summer and fall 2020 semester. For student and faculty protection against the highly contagious virus, everyone is required to wear masks, limit in-person interactions, and stay 6 feet apart from one another when we must make trips out. Opening the NIU campus in the middle of a pandemic is a daunting task, but NIU was prepared to take many different measures to keep those on campus safe.
But yeah, so like programs are basically just these events that you entail towards your community and you meet like the need for that community. So if you I guess if there's a program that like we want to create a program about de-stressing because we've noticed that a lot of students are stressed out about finals and midterms, so you would put on a program just to help them de-stress.
Implement a lot of measures to try to bring the community together during the time, because I was thinking that maybe they're just like, oh man, we're not gonna be able to do anything, let the dogs die, but they didn't. They held many virtual events and activities for everyone to do like every month or so. It was really nice because it kind of broke people out of their shells.
While campus was considered open, NIU kept certain buildings closed while limiting dorms to 1 person per room, meaning no one living on campus could have a roommate. Lastly, students living on campus or attending in-person classes have been expected to complete bi-weekly and now weekly COVID testing so that the school is able to keep track of cases on campus.
So I'm about to get my weekly COVID tests. They have us use this program called MyShield where we can set an appointment and schedule it, and then we can find our results. So I'm going to go ahead and do that now.
There is also a COVID-19 database freely available for anyone who would like to check how many COVID cases and recovered COVID cases there are on campus at a given time. Though these methods are proving successful in keeping NIU's staff and student body physically healthy, how has their mental health been?
Yeah, so I created a with my co-advisor, we created like a Among Us game night, and we had to do it differently this year because COVID, like, I think for this past semester, so fall 2020, we had to resort just doing like online programs, like online events, and it was hard just because, like, again, it's hard just doing stuff online because you've been doing it for so long, but still the event was really successful. We did an Among Us game night. We did it through Discord, and that's how we communicated throughout the game, and it was really fun. We played for like an hour or two. But yeah, that's an example of an event we did for like being a community advisor. So
back to where we were pre-COVID, where we're having people being able to meet and mingle and create those connections, because one of the big things that I know about college students and about student success in general is if you're finding your people, you're more likely to be successful in the classroom. And if you're more likely to be successful in the classroom, you're more likely to be retained to the university. And if you're more likely to be retained to the university, you're more likely to persist to graduation. And that is my ultimate goal as an educator. I want to make sure that you all, as students, are getting the experiences that are preparing you for life beyond college. So when I'm thinking about what my role is in that and what RHA's role is in that, I want students to understand what socializing looks like and how to do that in a way that is productive and fostering true and meaningful connections. So as we look at different events and different things that RHA puts on, that's what I look for.
Though these measures are necessary and effective, we believe the quarantine college experience can come with some detrimental effects to overall student mental health.
Of like what we're in right now, I would say that it's like doing as much as it can to make it feel like college normally. I definitely, in terms of like getting along with my classmates, at like definitely this semester when I actually was able to be in person for some of my classes, it's like the in-person aspect like kind of like forces you to talk to them and like actually like interact with them, which I felt like connected me more than just like having constant online.
From the isolation of not being able to easily meet other students on campus, to just feeling stuck in one's dorm all day, there are many factors that may contribute to this feeling. This is what our group is setting out to examine. How widespread are these lonely and unmotivated feelings in the student body? And is there anything that could be done if, in the unprecedented event of another pandemic, to keep students from feeling this way?
I think my biggest recommendation is that students should get involved, and it's never too late to get involved. So looking at things that are interesting to you, or things that might be different, or things that might be scary to you, try it out, see what happens. You don't have to be committing to whatever you're going to do for the rest of forever.
While the attempts at curbing the spread of COVID on campus were successful, there is no denying the negative impacts that the measures taken to ensure physical safety of the students had on mental health. From online learning to navigating campus life amid a global pandemic, the student body suffered trying to adapt to a new normal. We understand that a global pandemic was a situation that no one could have predicted, and it caught everyone off guard. However, universities such as NIU worked diligently to do as much as they could to ensure a safe learning environment for their students in a short time frame, while also constantly adapting to the evolving state of the pandemic. Our main idea for a solution to the mental health crisis facing college students during a pandemic would be to adequately express what students should expect during an unorthodox year on campus. This could include a list of things such as no roommates, building closures, limited access to certain resources, just to name a few, as well as having more virtual events with a more widespread advertisement of them so that students can still try to build a sense of community on campus. It is the hope that by creating a realistic expectation of campus life for students during a pandemic, that the students who come in will be more mentally prepared for what the year will bring, and that the feelings of isolation and increased anxiety and depression could be alleviated. COVID-19 has changed everyone's lives in ways they would have never expected, and universities did their best to make an enjoyable but safe experience for students on campus in order to try and give back students some semblance of normal. In the coming years, with COVID-19 vaccines being made available to the public, and universities around the world adapting their plans as the pandemic evolves and learning what does and does not work on campus, things will soon begin to improve. And, though slightly altered, the college experience will slowly shift back to normalcy. While universities across the world successfully created a safe learning environment, they did not pay much heed to the toll these solutions took on students' mental well-being. Because of this, we have thought of a few solutions to help with the student issues of feeling overwhelmed, isolated, anxious, and depressed due to being deprived from the full college experience if the unfortunate reoccurrence of another pandemic were to happen.
But yeah, it's a great sight to see, I would say.
And then before we end this time together, is there anything else you would like to add or tell my English 203 class?
I'd just like to say, well, thank you, Jack, for interviewing me. I felt honored just being a part of this interview. But I guess I just want to say, you guys got this. You just have to keep going. And I know it's hard now, or who knows if it's hard. Maybe you guys are, I mean, everyone's experiencing different things, of course. But I would say, like, if you guys are trying, I think you guys are doing great. And yeah, I think you just have to remember people, believe in you, and I guess remembering that will help you, keep going. Definitely helped me keep going as well. So